TV50 Sports and the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association present Candlepin Stars and Strikes. From Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, featuring the best Candlepin bowlers from around New England.
Gonna split it. Look at this. Yes! Oh, wow! Right in the pocket.
My goodness.
Oh, there was never a doubt about that one. Good-looking ball. Yeah.
And now your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Once again, welcome to Candlepin Stars and Strikes at Park Place Lanes here on Route 28 in Wyndham. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Thanks for joining us. And we have reached our first championship match of the new season, and it should be a pretty interesting one.
Yes, not only are they shooting for $1,000 and $500 to the runner-up, but we'll have our first contestant for the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get into this a little bit more as the show goes on, but for those of you who may not be aware as yet, part of our new format here on the show is that we have 5 bowlers and 4 shows in each series now instead of 5 shows. And the series champion will move on to a Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. So the winner of today's match automatically qualifies for that Tournament of Champions program. All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers. First of all, the number 3 seed. He's won 2 in a row already, looking to make it 3 for the big money, Bob Moran.
Yes, and Bob carries an average of 124, and he's got a 200 high single. And he loves these warm-up boxes. He throws strikes, and we do the slow-mo of him at the beginning of the show, and this is a slow one, but it's still a strike. And he's got 2 wins in a row. He's going for his 3rd. Standing in his way, of course, is Dan Brodeur, who hit an amazing 722 to qualify for the show.
Yeah, and Dan Brodeur has not been with us for quite some time, but he made his reappearance with a smash this time because he scored 722 in the roll-off, winning the roll-off by some 25 pins over the second-place finisher. So Dan Brodeur, who hasn't been with us for about 3.5 years, comes back now with a little bit of momentum, I would think.
Right, and of course he bowled extremely well in the qualifying rounds. So he's a 1-1 record here on the show. He's got a high triple of 440, and he carries an average of 123. So he's ready to go.
As Dan mentioned earlier, a lot of money on the line today. $500 to the runner-up, $1,000 to the winner. And Tony Maceos, the general sales manager for Gladstone Ford Chrysler Plymouth on Route 102 in Londonderry, New Hampshire, will be here a little bit later on to present the big check to the winner. We also have big money in the bonus ball contest at the end of the show, $190. We'll get into that a little bit later on. 3 strings of Candlepin bowling, total pinfall for $1,000, and we'll be back to get it started between Bob Moran and Dan Brodeur right after we roll these messages. Don't go away. One in our series championship match here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Bob Moran checking in with that 689 in the roll-off. And he has beaten consecutively Pat Pay, the number 5 seed, and Dave Cromie, the number 2 seed, to advance to this point. Dan Brodeur, of course, after recording the 722, has been waiting for a challenger, and he now has one, and Bob Moran is set to step up to lane 32 to get us started. There's one that counts.
That's right. He must have thought he was still in the opening of the show. You see the replay, and looked just like the one he just threw. Looking for 2 in a row for Bob Moran. Off target this time.
Bob, I don't think, is particularly pleased with the way he's bowled in the 2 weeks that he's been here, but he's been able to get the scores necessary to win. 380 2 weeks ago and a 362 last week. $29 for the first pair. And now our first look in quite some time at Dan Brodeur.
I mentioned Dan has come off some serious back surgery recently and did nothing more but come back and bowl in one of the leagues, hit 400. But good to see him back and bowling extremely well.
Now, the interesting thing about Dan is that This is his third appearance on the program, and there's a spare on the kick. We'll get another look at that one.
Clears everything but the 5, and just enough to nudge that piece of wood into the 5 for the spare.
Dan was here in October of 1984 and lost a heartbreaker to Tim Lipke, 420 to 405. Dan threw a 155 third game in that match, and Tim Lipke threw a 154 to hang on and win the match. And then less than a year later, in June of '85, Dan was here again and won a ladder championship against Jerry Montminy, 363 to 308. But the interesting thing about Dan is this is the third time he's been here. All 3 times he's qualified as the #1 seed, so all 3 matches he's appeared in have been series championship matches.
And the early lead goes to Bob Moran, 29-25.
Bob in the pocket again, and he just missed kicking out that 4-pin for a strike. Right on it.
Plus the 9-pin. It was a matter of whether or not he was going to catch the head pin, because the wood helps him with the 9. Off the wall and back again, and 2 spares in a row for Bob Moran.
Like Bob Moran, Dan Brodeur's wife has also been here in competition, Marlene Brodeur.
And both excellent Candlepin bowlers in their own right. That's how these guys got to be so good, watching their wives. I'll hear about that. Oh, nice shot by Dan Brodeur.
Terrific spare.
Matches the mark up in the 3rd by Bob Moran. Let's take a look at that one. Head pin, 7, 8, 9, 10 with a 6. All kinds of lumber.
It's never happened, but I'm sure it could at some point. Maybe even this season it will when we go to our mixed doubles format. Oh, my. Chopping out the 2-pin on the spare. That we've yet to have a situation where we've had husband and wife on 2 different teams competing against each other.
That is dangerous. It's a long ride down, and it's going to be twice as long going back home. Dan wants nothing but a good out here.
And he gets it.
Not bad. Not to mention those people living in and around the Concord area or the Manchester area. Some of the technological breakthroughs in the game of Candlepin bowling. Botwell's Bowling Center and also Kings Lanes in Manchester have installed digital scoring. So it's kind of interesting to see it operate, and it'll be operating for both league bowling and open bowling. So if you're in those areas, stop by and take a look at the new computerized scoring that they have.
Now, does this literally mean that the bowler does not have to actually do anything, or you have to enter the numbers?
You have to enter the numbers, yes.
Okay.
You still have to know 1 through 9, 10, spare. Yeah. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, nice spare. Throws the 3-pin into the 7 for a spare.
That's 3 in a row for Bob, and 4 in 5 frames.
You see the replay. Watch him pinch the 3-pin. 3 goes right into the 7. Nice shot.
That's how to do it. Might have made it without the wood. Bob off to an outstanding start here in this first string. And he's in the pocket again, and he'll touch them all.
You see the replay of the strike. So not like Bob the last couple weeks. He's opening up with a real big game. 110 last week, and the week before, 104. So Dan leaves himself to 1, 9, and 10.
With a chance. Let's see. Another piece of wood moving in. There's what Dan sees. This could go. Goes to the left of the head pin.
Oh, nice shot.
Or to the right of the head pin.
I mentioned Bob Moran has not left a pin standing through 6 boxes, which is, we call it perfect game, not leaving any pin standing, 10 or more.
Dan Brodeur on the spare, and that one slipped to the right. But
got a break. 1 and 8 left. 8 fell on the spare. Dan trying to push that piece of wood in behind the head pin closer to the 8, so it'll be more beneficial to him, but he makes that one, so right back with a couple marks of his own.
Bob Moran now comes up working on a strike, and he's had 4 marks in a row. Well, this will look good if it goes.
It's got to be on the head pin. Ball or the head pin's got to take the 10, and then they're going to need some help for the 8 pin.
Over 100 already through 7. Dottie Larrick working the big scoreboard as usual for us here on the program.
Quick strike. He actually tripped the 6 pin forward on that strike. Watch the 6 pin come forward.
6 marks already for Bob Moran. And Dan Brodeur's working on one as well, a spare.
Dan's thinking just a good fill, another mark. Just stay within myself. It's a long ways to go. Again, off target on the head pin for Dan. But he gets an 8 drop. Not an easy spare. Unless the wood comes up, it'll make it a little easier for him. It rests against the head pin.
Dan trying to move the wood around.
What this enables Dan to do is to almost hit the head pin flush and still get it to kick toward the 7 pin. Well, lost that one a little bit to the left. Climbs back to within 18, can cut it to 17, but then he'll be opposite the strike by Bob Moran.
Nope. 18 it is. Speaking of 18, our next taping session here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes will be December 18th. We'll be here, start at about 10 in the morning and continue until 4:30 in the afternoon. So if you're in the neighborhood on Sunday, December 18th, stop by. It's Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, Park Place Lanes, right near the intersection of Route 111. Can't miss it.
Dan just slipping by on the left of the 5 pin.
Still there. Oh, Bob Moran has a chance here at a really great score in this first string. He'll have a very solid string in any event, but with a strike up in the 8th and at 107 through 7, he has a chance to really do some damage here. Well, let's see. Nothing else will fall, but it's a spare leave, although that wood may cause a little trouble.
It looked a lot better with the 4 horsemen up with a piece of wood angled against the head pin, but then that went down, and that wood you're looking at now, I believe is the head pin. And now he got to cap the wood or get by it and get the 2 pin. Drives it right straight back, spare on strike. And you're right, Doug, off to a great first game. 137 in the 9th with a ball to come and a box.
boy, kicks out the 10.
And now the 3-pin or 4-pin goes down, leaves himself to 2. 146, got a chance for 160 if he can corral the 2-pin and get at least a 4 fill on the last spare.
This is far and away the best string that Bob Moran has had here on Stars and Strikes. His previous high string was a 140, no, I take it back, 167. He had a 167 back in October of 1986, so he'll have to leave that as his high game, but he'll be right up near there. 156 and a ball to roll. 163. And he left 1 pin standing, not counting that last fill.
9 box in the 7th frame. Other than that, everything 10 or better. 3 strikes and 4 spares. 5 spares.
Well, Dan Brodeur's got to somehow try and block this all out and just keep firing.
If he was here to watch Bob Moran against, yeah, how quickly we forget, Pat Pay, wasn't it? He was down 44 pins after 1 game. Dan is going to be in a similar situation where you're just going to have to play your own game, and hopefully you catch fire and the other bowler will slow down. Well, you're going to hope Bob Moran slows down, because if he ever gets any hotter. 163 opening game.
$1,000 to the winner of this match. 500 to the runner-up.
Two 4 on the left, 610 on the right with a piece of wood in front of the 610. Yeah, good shot.
$118 for Dan Brodeur. Bob Moran jumps out to an early lead after 1, but we still have 2 strings remaining in this series championship. We'll be back with more, including details on our bonus ball contest in just a minute. 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. And again, when we eventually do get a winner, even though we haven't had one in quite some time, we'll be emptying out the big TV and we'll start it all over again. So hope we get your cards in. Dan Brodeur now set to go in our 2nd string. There's what Dan is facing. It's not an easy climb, but it can be done, as Bob Moran proved 2 weeks ago. He trailed by 44 after the first game.
610 left for Dan.
Boy, Dan put that ball down in great shape. Didn't even hear it hit the lane.
And I think as soon as he let the ball go, we were both thinking the same thing. Well, that's going to be a good fill, and you can't get any better than that. Very quickly, spare strike. So, he said, so match is a long ways from being over. A reputation of being a high-scoring house. So you always get that in the back of your mind that you can throw a big game here. 1, 2, and 10.
No, just missed it. Still there for an 8. I tell you, that lead can disappear pretty quickly if Bob opens here in the 2nd.
12 of them are gone already after 1 frame. That's a good-looking ball.
Yes!
Oh.
Teased him a little bit.
That pin came all the way across the lane and then just nudged it enough to knock that 4-pin down. And matches Dan's strike up in the second. Dan working on a strike, looking for 2.
Dan's average is 123 in league competition, but his average in the roll-off, the final roll-off, was just over. Oh, nice spare. Wow, get out of the way.
They're coming back at us.
Here it is. That pin was really jumping.
Now I know why they sit us behind this wall.
As I started to say, Dan's average in the roll-off for 5 games was just over 144 for the 722 total.
Right back in the pocket. Oh, that pin just missed the 4-pin. Rolled right in behind it. 9 fill on the spare for Dan.
Well, he's doing what he has to do to make a move. Stringing them together, that's 4 in a row. Bob Moran now steps up working on a strike. Double!
No doubt about it when it went in either. It's just a matter of it's going to be a strike or an 8-pin drop. Finally, the 8-pin goes down.
For 3 strikes in a row, it's a little light. No. We'll pause right here with both bowlers warming up a little bit. Bob Moran at 63 through 4, and Dan Brodeur has 4 consecutive marks. We'll be right back.
Absolutely not. I don't think Bob Moran wanted to break either. Both bowlers are on a roll right now. Dan, 4 in a row, working on a spare up in the 4th. Right back in the pocket, and whoa!
Honest, he didn't throw any marks while we were away.
No, but he didn't forget how to do it, that's for sure. Strike on spare. A mere 79 after 4 boxes. And a strike up in the 5th. 2 of them? 2? Oh, no. There's got to be some justice in this world.
Wow.
Oh, that was as good a ball as he's thrown the first 4 boxes. Unfortunately, 7-10. Ooh,
wow,
good try.
He gave that a run.
He certainly did. 98 at the turn.
Wow. What a start. Now we know why he threw a 722.
It's one thing to get the 7-10 split, but usually you have a piece of wood someplace to help you and
right.
give you some kind of a shot at it, but not this time. Bob Moran up in the 5th. .610 on the right with the 7-pin. He's going to try to pinch the 6-pin into the wood in between the 6 and the 7 to hopefully carry the 7.
Not quite. While we have a minute, we want to take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors participating in this series championship, most notably Gladstone Ford Chrysler Plymouth on Route 102 in Londonderry, New Hampshire. The general sales manager, Tony Maceos, is with us during this taping. He'll be here at the end of the show to present the big winner's check for $1,000.
Now that, as Dan Brodeur's, was a pretty good hit going in, and Of course, I think Dan would have liked to have at least this shot. Dan had the 7-10. Bob was going to have the 4, 8, 9, and 10, but a makeable spare with the wood there.
Let's see. Oh, he went all the way to the left, and it won't happen. And it'll be a 9. So, through 6 boxes here in the second string, Dan Brodeur has chopped 26 pins off that lead, so it's now down to just 19.
Right now, as Dan wants to put another mark or 2 up, because you get this far, this many back, you don't want to turn around and give a dozen of them back to Bob Moran. That defeats the whole purpose, as well as demoralizing to yourself. You come this far. And he threw a good ball the last box and left the 7-10. Right back on the head pin. 3, 6, and the 7. Whoops, there goes the 6.
That might have hurt him.
I think it did. 6, 7. At the angle of the wood, it's almost better to go left of the 3-pin, have it come off the right sidewall. Whoops.
Oh, second try. He missed it twice. Yeah.
You see what happened when he hit that 3-pin? It went right to the left sidewall, but way in front of the 7 because of the angle of the wood behind it. And he continues to pin well, not leaving a pin standing through 6, 118.
Mentioned earlier the 155 that Dan threw on his very first appearance here more than 4 years ago, and he's got a shot at bettering that, and there's another strike. That 4-pin didn't look like it was wobbling, and all of a sudden it fell.
You see, it just nudged.
Tapped, right?
Yeah, nudged on the way by, and then it seemed to slow down and slow motion overwood, but it's a good ball. Strike up in the 8th for Dan Brodeur.
Little full.
Well, makeable shot if the wood stays there. So it's going back. Make it more difficult, still makeable, but don't think he can play the inside of the 2-pin. I think he's going to have to split him. If the ball will carry him off the 2-pin or not. See what happens.
Let's see, a kick, not strong enough.
Nice bit, nice bit.
Well, Dan certainly put a dent in the lead. If it wasn't for the double strike by Bob Moran,
Yep.
if that was just a double spare, he's got another 20 pins. So how quickly this game can turn around. You think Bob Moran is, can continue throwing the 163s all day long the way he was bowling, but seems to throw the same ball. Of course, he's off target a little bit with that one, but don't forget he's opposite a strike by Dan Brodeur. So Dan's going to cut into that lead even more.
Ooh.
There's 3 more in count, plus the fill on the strike.
So the lead is 16 less the fill on this strike.
Oh, that's a double. I saw all the way in the 1-2 pocket. Woo, that was a quick one. Much like Bob Moran's 2 that he threw.
Brooklyn side.
Cleared out that 9-pin. And he's up to a fantastic second game, much like Bob Moran in the first.
Maybe, no, a little full. Well, there's the 16, the fill on that first strike. Dead even right now.
There it goes. Oh, the ball was on its way over after the 4 and 7. 8 fill, 162, 170, plus this. Great games by both bowlers. 171. Whew, fantastic game.
Congratulations from Bob Moran.
289.
Bob can stay even here with 1 mark and a good fill in the final 2.
289, that's what you hit for 4 games, isn't it? Or 3 games?
No, that was my golf score.
Oh, he wanted that piece of wood to stay in between. That was a difficult shot now with the 8-pin in the back, the sleeper. You almost got to be flush on the 4-pin, but then you leave, sometimes you leave the 5.
No.
There you go. Just got through saying, you got to be full on the head pin to get the 8, but many times you leave the 5. Dan Brodeur is going to take the lead.
20 pins in this box would give Bob the lead in the match, but he's got to get a mark in order to get a shot at it, and there's a mark. Actually, a 7 count on this strike would tie it through 2. So anything more than a 7 would be Bob's lead. But remember, he led by 45 coming into this string.
And again, 3 marks for Bob Moran. The string all strikes, and 2 of them were a double.
Maybe. Let's see. No. He'll have the lead, though. Bob's studying this one. And it's a spare. So 20 in the last gives Bob Moran a 3-pin lead. And look at the 2 string totals. 292 and 289. Well, this should be a terrific finish. We'll be back with our final string in this series championship. $1,000 on the line, and we'll be back.
And we've got a good one. 292 for Bob Moran, 289 for Dan Brodeur. 3-pin lead for the man you're looking at now. Not only to win the $1,000, but also to be the first winner in the Tournament of Champions to be held at the end of the season.
Boy, and I'll tell you, regardless of who wins this, they're going to post a pretty good score for the seeding of the Tournament of Champions.
That's right.
Again, the 6 regular series champions throughout the season here on Stars and Strikes will qualify for that special tournament at the end of the year, and the seeding in that tournament will be determined by the scores rolled in the championship matches. And so the winning score here today figures to be certainly over 400, the way these 2 guys are going. And although I'm sure we'll see a lot of good scores, whoever posts it is going to be pretty happy, I would think. Half Worcester left for Bob on that spare.
Well, he made this last week after getting the half Worcester, but if he doesn't make it, he wants to get at least an 8 or a 9 to make the spare count. Well, it's going to have to be a good out to do that. Bob taking a close look whether or not to play the 2 and grab them all or play the 3. And I think he's going to go after the triangle. That's safe thing to do, but it's just like 2 10 boxes, 20 after 2.
He joined us late in the first string. Bob Moran had 8 marks and left only 1 pin standing and had a 163. In the second string, Dan Brodeur had 7 marks, including a double strike, and left 1 pin standing, and that was in the 10th frame, and with a 171. Dan off target and leaves the 9 pin.
And he covers. So both bowlers mark in the first. However, Bob Moran had disappointing 2 fill. Anything over 5, Dan can jump into the lead.
I'm going to skip that one down the lane.
Yeah, and did you notice that pin? It actually jumped up over these 4 that are standing, the 5, 6, 9, and 10. It went up and over them. Otherwise, you probably would have had an 8 or 9 drop on the spare. Strange, the way the pins are jumping down there.
Dan elected to Or at least it appeared that he elected to shoot at the 6 pin rather than the 5. And he takes an 8 box. So he leads by 1. Dan Brodeur leads by 1 with 8 boxes to go.
Well, for the opening ladder of the season, we've had some exciting matches, some big games. And the way it should be, the final match of the ladder, a close one and a high-scoring match.
Right through the center for Bob Moran, chopping out the 1, 5, and 9.
Work it out, now work it out, every stick.
Bob will go 3-6 side, because if you miss cutting it, it might catch the 8 pin and do some damage like at that.
Give me 3 now, give me 3 every stick.
And 2 8s in a row. 28 after 3.
Again, a quick reminder that if you'd like to join us here in person, Bob Moran leaves a rocking 6 pin. If you'd like to join us here in person as we tape Candlepin Stars and Strikes, we will next be taping some programs on Sunday, December 18th. Spare up for Bob Moran in the 4th. So if you're at all in the area or can plan to be in the area, Route 28 near the intersection of Route 111 in Windham, New Hampshire, Park Place Lanes, formerly Sandy's. If you ask anyone around here,
Whoa.
they can tell you where it is, be it Sandy's or Park Place Lanes. They know where it is.
Well, that's a tough leave there. 8 9. The last box, he missed the head pin, left the 9 pin. This time he buries it, leaves the 8 9. There's a moral of that story. Don't hit the head pin. I don't know. I'm not sure. He can gain a couple and count. He's gained 1 already. He's opposite an 8 box. He can come down and wish us a Merry Christmas, the whole bit.
That's right. Bring presents.
Yeah, I was going to say, you want to know my sizes, just call me.
The lead is now 3 for Dan Brodeur, but he's opposite a spare. Oh, I'd love to see one of those go. The 10 pin.
The 10 pin almost in the gutter. Look at it.
The 10 pin actually is edged out over the plate, I think.
And I think he's going to have to go after the 10 pin because of the angle of the wood. Well, the front piece could help him. This is a tough choice. Because even playing the 10 pin, when the pin next to it rolls over toward the 7, it's going to come in contact with the second piece.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh, now he can try it the other way.
Whereas now it's altogether different because he knocked the other wood out of the way, but... Well, we'll never know, but... Let's look at this last shot. He leaves a 7. Watch the 10 pin. There it goes, right there. Walks it right over.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Maybe thinking about that when this match ends. We'll take a break. It is still very, very tight. In fact, Bob Moran will have a chance to retake the lead when he fills this spare. We're coming down the home stretch for the big money. We'll be back. Here we go. We've got to decide this thing sometime. I told you they'd wait till the right moment to sing. Bob's supporters.
Well, you'd think they'd get that right by now, though. Ooh, that's brutal. I don't know what they do with the money.
I think they needed a new rehearsal.
Yeah, the
or
money,
two.
for singing lessons. Must have went to a local tavern and spent it there or something.
This is on a spare.
Yeah, again, off target for Bob. 4 fill on the spare.
It's enough to give him the lead again by 2 in the match. Let's see. Bob kind of posed there for a minute. He thought he had it.
One ball and stick now, one ball and stick, come on. Then time now, come on, throw me a hammer.
Bob seemed to get a little extra spin on that ball.
Right, but what he also did was get the ball out further on the lane, and his ball, for it to break, has to be in contact with that lane, and by throwing it out further on the lane, less time for it to break, and stayed out to the right.
Oh, right on it.
Little difference there. He laid that one right down, broke right into the 1-2 pocket, and cleared out the 4 horsemen. You'll see there's the quick replay. And again, Dan Brodeur's got to put a couple marks up.
(5-9) with Wood. Sure, he'll shoot right at it, though. As long as he doesn't cap that wood, he'll be okay. Ooh, got away with it.
He would have had it clean if it wasn't for the wood, but capped the wood and just enough to carry the ball carry on through. No, it was actually the 5-pin who nudged the 9.
Phil is a 7.
2, 4, 5.
Dan Brodeur retakes the lead.
Back and forth we go. Big mark here to match Bob Moran's mark up in the 6th.
Nope.
Thin hit, didn't get the sidewall action at all, left the 4. Advantage Moran. Looks like we're in a tennis match here.
Whoever holds serve last here will win.
It seems to be. Bob Moran's had tough time with the fills. Had 2, missed the head pin, half Worcester, and the second one in the 4th frame, he missed the head pin, got 4. Didn't miss the head pin there.
No such trouble that time.
No, sir. Right in the 1-3 pocket.
That gives Bob Moran the lead again. With an exclamation point. That is his 7th strike of the match. Looking for 8. It's an 8 drop.
The 4-7-10 left, kicked the 10 pin out. Leaves himself the 4-7 for spare on strike.
Oh,
hit the object pin, but full. Left the 7 pin. No break for Dan Brodeur.
$16 marks for Bob Moran. Dan Brodeur has 13. And he'd like to make it 14 right here. Like to get a mark, at least 1 mark in the next 2 to bring himself just about even.
One, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10 for Dan.
Nope.
Oof, everything but the 6. Here's the all-important 8th box, especially when you're bowling last. This sets you up for the final 2 frames. Plus, it gives your opponent something to think about if you can put a mark up in the 8th.
Well, Dan trails in the match now by 14. All the better reason why he needs something here. And wow, what a time for that. The 1-5 punched out.
Right straight back through. You wonder how that can be done.
He's going
Look
for
at
it.
This.
He's going for it.
What a shot!
Unbelievable.
Holy mackerel.
Here it is again.
Play. The shot of the day. Nudge the 7 pin back into the 4 and then finally the deuce.
That got a handshake from Bob Moran for Dan Brodeur. That was an incredible shot, and what a spot to hit it. Ooh.
What a match. Got my heart beat up a little bit.
Bob Moran can't get the extra pin. He'll shoot at the 2-4-6.
See which side he decides to go, because he does have a piece of wood. Now he's trying to split the two. Oof. Oh, nice try by Bob.
And a 9.
All right. They're all big pins now.
Well, if Bob Moran marks here in the 10th, he'll force Dan Brodeur to mark. Probably, depending on what the fill is.
Dan will have to mark anyways.
Right, actually, it does regardless, right?
Force him to get the second mark. Wow. Scary thing, the loser of this match is going to go over 400.
That's right.
3, 6, 10 on the right with a 4, 7 for Bob Moran.
Oh, hit a little full.
They're all important pins now, though. Everything he leaves standing, that's the one less pin that Dan Brodeur has to get. Try for the 4, 7. And 119.
So that's a 4, 11. Will it be enough? Well, you mentioned the setup in the 8th frame, and this is why it's so important, Dan, because if Dan gets a big fill here, he could put himself in great shape. He needs a 122 to tie, a 123 to win.
He's right now at a 110 clip, plus this fill and the spare. So he's definitely going to need one more mark anyways.
Well, he also will not get the extra pin. The same shot in reverse.
With the wood behind, sometimes you can go inside of the 3-pin and come off the wall. They'll come straight across. Trying to split them.
Nope. Well, we're going to go down to the final box. Dan Brodeur will need a mark. Here's the situation. Dan Brodeur needs 16 pins to tie, 17 to win. One box will decide it.
What a finish to our first ladder of the new season. Wow.
That ball faded just at the end, but Dan does have at least something to shoot at here.
That's going to be a tough shot. 178 is always tough. He's going to try to clip the head pin and the two pieces of wood at the same time, which will give him something else moving around on the plate.
Has to have it.
No.
Does not. And Bob Moran wins the series championship and advances. It's an 8, a 114, and a 403 for Dan Brodeur. And probably relief that it's over for the two bowlers. This is the second time that Dan Brodeur in his 3 appearances here has lost to a guy who also went over 400.
Go 400 and lose.
Wow.
Incredible.
411 to 403. We'll be back to award the big money and see if we can't give away some more money in the bonus ball contest. Don't go away as we take a look at that another
incredible spare by Dan Brodeur.
Right. It wasn't enough, but this gave him a chance. We'll be back. Yeah, runner-up check to a guy who throws 403, but Dan Brodeur, congratulations. But this is nothing new. This is the second time this has happened to you. It was a terrific match, though.
Thank you very much. I was glad to be involved in a good one.
It was a great match, that second string. What did you do? Do you remember? Did you make any special changes, or the second string, it all came together for you?
Yeah, I knocked down a lot more pins in the first string. Yeah.
That is the key, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dan, we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thanks. A great match.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thanks,
That's Dan Brodeur. And now let's quickly bring in the general sales manager of Gladstone Ford Chrysler Plymouth, Tony Maceos. Tony, that was a terrific match.
Super match, and in watching the match, you have to sympathize with Dan Brodeur's wife. She's really rooting for Dan, but unbelievable, and it was a pleasure to watch it.
All right, I know you have that $1,000 check that you want to give away, but first we have a piece of business. Bob Moran over on lane 31 for our bonus ball contest. We've got $190 on the line here, so let's see if we can give away some more money. Hope we have your postcard in the big TV. It's a 5, and I get to do the honors this time instead of Dan Murphy, but let's see if I can draw out a 5. It is a flag and a guess of 7 for Ida Caldwell of Milford, New Hampshire. So for Ida, unfortunately not a match, but we'll send you a TV50 NHCBA desk pen, and we will be up to an even $200 when we start our new series championship next week here on Stars and Strikes. Bob Moran, come on right in here next to Tony Maceos, and Tony, I'll let you do the honors.
Congratulations, Bob. Super match. Thank you, Tony. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Spend that $1,000 wisely.
Bob, come on in for a quick comment if you can, and that was just a terrific finish.
I don't know about a finish. It was a great match. We kind of both staggered in, scraped it in. It was a heck of a match. Danny's tough bowler, good kid. I like Danny.
Well, you got that big first string, and then were able to come back on your own a couple of times in that third string.
Well, he made it tough. I knew he was going to come back with a big one. He did. He's that kind of bowler. And what I had to do was just try to, scrape it along best way I could and stay out of trouble. And fortunately, we both scraped it on in. And somebody had to finish second. I've been there myself. I lost to Steve Vadney last time. He kind of blew me away. It was close. I lost by about a string.
Well, Bob, this means that you've automatically qualified for the Tournament of Champions, and that 411 total should stand you in pretty good stead. We'll see how it holds up as we move along, but that means we'll be seeing you again in the spring.
Oh, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Doug.
All right, Bob. Thanks very much. Congratulations. Terrific match. Bob Moran, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's have Dan Murphy slide in here. First of all, before we close, a final thank you to Tony Maceos, who has slipped away from us here, but to Tony and to all the folks at Gladstone Ford Chrysler Plymouth, we appreciate their support in this ladder series, and what a great one it was.
It certainly was, and like I say, I feel sorry for Dan throwing the 400 and losing, but we got our first qualifier for the Tournament of Champions, and Bob Moran.
All right, next week we'll be back with a brand new ladder series, 5 new bowlers, and another 4-week series, and we'll get another qualifier. So join us next Sunday. We'll be here to do it all again here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole TV50 Sports crew, Doug Brown, bye-bye, everybody, from Park Place Lanes.